How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of LandO's Logic, and today I have myself a very, very special guest. I have got my man Vikul joining me from the Florida Mutineers. I gotta say, man, first things first, I keep hearing people have this same back and forth conversation that we've heard with like Asim and Asim, Envoy and Envoy. Is it Vikul or is it Vikul? Let the people know for sure that we have a for sure answer now.
So it's technically pronounced the Spanish way, and the Spanish way it's Vikul. So yeah, it's probably the second one you said. It's like imagine it's a double E instead of an I,
Okay.
and yeah, that's pretty much how it's pronounced. I do not like Vikul or Vic, so we can take those away from the conversation.
All those possible names in the future, you can just toss those aside. We're gonna rock with Vikul for now. Vikul's okay, but Vikul is the official pronunciation. I just don't want to have this happen again, buddy. I don't want to have this happen again where we have another player where we're like, is it this or is it that? We have the answer that we've been waiting for. Now, you and I have had a few passing conversations before at different events. I think you and I actually ran into each other at the elevators at Champs. And I was like, you know what, man, I feel like the CDL's coming for you. And you're like, you know what, we'll see. What's it like to know next season you're not just going to be in the CDL, but you're going to be starting for the Florida Mutineers? What does it mean to know that now?
Well, I think it's I tweeted it out when I got announced. I think it's an honor to be able to compete in the league. I think professional players do not realize the position they're in sometimes, how unique it is to play Call of Duty professionally. There's only 48 players in the world that start in the league, and there's more than 800 million players that play Call of Duty at least once a week, 200 million players that play every day. So I think it's a unique opportunity. We're in like a 0.00006% of players. So some people do not realize, but when you're outside and you've worked so hard to get in and you finally get in, you realize how important it is. So yeah, I'm just excited to be able to showcase my talent. It's going to be the first year I can actually focus fully time on Call of Duty. I've always had to focus, in studies and COD at the same time. So I'm actually excited. It's going to be a new journey for me. So I'm just approaching it with a lot of positiveness, a lot of hard work, and just excited to get going with my teammates.
Definitely, man. Well, I want you to have a chance to kind of break down your story a little bit, because as you talked about, you do come from the Spanish COD scene. You made your journey to North America this season. That to me was one of the best stories in Challengers, was watching this guy who came from EU Challengers into North America, and the rise that you had was unbelievably impressive. What has this journey been like for you now that you've made the move and now that it's paid off?
So pretty much, like you said, I started off in the Spanish community as soon as I turned 18. I graduated from high school and I competed for that season of Cold War, the end of the season. I turned 18 on April, so I was only able to compete like half of the season.
Mm-hmm.
I managed to win a tournament in EU, and I already spoke to my parents about it before, but the goal was to study in the US. This is outside of COD. The goal was to study in the US because it's recognized, it's more valuable for the future. And I was lucky enough that it's also where COD is the most relevant as well in the United States. So I kind of took advantage of coming to study here to also compete here. And as everyone could have seen last year, it went great. I was lucky enough to be able to join the Toronto Ultra Academy. I took advantage of the opportunity, managed to compete in the Pro-Am, win a couple LAN tournaments, play second at Champs.
Yeah.
And, that's I took advantage of the opportunity, and that's why I'm here. I say I'm from the Spanish community, but I always studied in English. I did the British system in school. So I was around the English community a lot as well. So yeah, or technically I am Spanish. I'm from the Spanish community.
Right. So I've heard that you could speak, I think I've seen a few people tweet this, you can speak like 3 or 4 different languages. What is that true? Like, I know obviously English and Spanish, but what's the third one?
So I speak English and Spanish pretty much really fluently, and then I've been 3 years studying Chinese, Mandarin Chinese.
Wow.
My dad is a person that is always behind me. He's always trying to make me better on every kind of way. And he recommended 3 years ago to take a different journey and go to the Mandarin Chinese way because he thought like who in the world can speak English, Spanish, and Chinese fluently?
Right.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean? That's
100%.
it's really really hard. And he said that if you manage to speak these three languages fluently at the same time, you'll be able to pretty much work anywhere in the workplace and be seen as like kind of unique to other people when
Yeah.
applying for jobs. So it's kind of an investment for my future, learning Chinese as well. And yeah, that is the third language. And
That's
the
impressive,
last one,
man.
by the way, the last one.
Right.
I speak three only.
Well, who knows? Maybe a fourth one could come at some point in the future. But in the move to EU to NA, you're pursuing COD, you're playing in challengers. I imagine, you're up late in scrimmages. You got classes early in the morning. What was the biggest challenge for you trying to handle going to school while also at the same time playing COD? I'd imagine scrimmages, going to tournaments all the time.
So just to let you know, my schedule was wake up 7 in the morning, get some work done before my 9 a.m. class, go to my
Oh,
9 a.m. class, 10 p.m. class, 9 a.m. class, 10 a.m. class, 11 a.m. class. Then I would go and eat some lunch. I would miss my 1 p.m. class because I had practice. So I would practice the whole afternoon. And after I would practice, I would go back to my Zoom recordings because thanks to,
hmm.
well, not thanks to, I wish it didn't happen, but
Right.
COVID happened. So apart from being in person, the classes were recorded and attendance wasn't required on some of these classes. So after practice, I would look over the class that I missed. And then after that, I would be done by 8 p.m. And from 8 p.m. till like 12, I would probably go and do some more work, some more studying. I would go to bed and I would wake up at 7 a.m. and do it again every day.
Jeez, man, it's a jam-packed schedule, my friend. Like, there's not a whole lot of COD players out there, or at least I'm sure people at challengers, even the pro side, who are waking up at 7 a.m., going to class, trying to mix the two. I imagine, like I said, was difficult, but I'm glad for you. Right now, you had the chance to kind of focus on this solely and put all your attention into it. Now, coming into this interview, I wanted to look at your COD history. I was somewhat familiar, but I definitely did not realize how long that you have been competing for. I know you've been underage, recently turned 18, 19, not super long ago, but you've been playing for a while. I imagine growing up, I know you faced off against a few of these teams, but did seeing teams, like Heretics and Giants inspire you to want to try to make this a career?
So pretty much like what happened in Spain, I started competing when I was 11 years old. Um, it was in AW, and when I was 12, I was in the Black Ops 3 scene. I was already starting to play against these big names like Lucky,
Mm-hmm.
Journey, obviously remember them, and Heretics was around already. And there's a few matches on YouTube when I was 12 years old where I played them. And obviously you look up to them, you see you go like, wow, these guys are 16, they're 15, 16, they're winning tournaments in Spain. And that's how it went the whole time. Like when I turned 14, they turned 18 and they started playing in the international scene and doing really, really well. When they were back here in Spain, you managed to maybe get some scrims against them and you're like, wow, I'm playing like against a pro league team because Heretics was in the
Right.
pro league at that time in Black Ops 4. And I was like 16 and I was like, wow, man, I really want to do this. I don't feel like I'm any different to them. I'm playing against them with my team of underages as well. Real, he's in Minnesota.
Right.
Eric Boom, which is competing in EU right now. Some other players that were there in the past. I competed with them because they're my age. So we had a solid team of underages, and we never were able to showcase that in the international scene because we were underage. But like when Heretics came here and practiced, it was like, man, we can actually compete against these guys. Like imagine if we could actually go to I don't know, MLG Anaheim or MLG blah
Right.
blah. You know what I mean? So it's like it was always a like I want to but I can't, kind of feeling. So we were just patient. We were patient about the age restrictions, and look where it brought us. You know, you see Real in Minnesota. I'm sure Eric who's also our age will come up soon to a franchise, and you know, I'm in Mutineers now, so it's just being patient and just aspiring to be something, taking your time, doing the right thing, not overstepping anyone, just doing you're taking your own journey, and you end up getting up here. But obviously, like, you know, the luckies, the journeys are obviously people we looked up to, and now we're
Sure.
literally close friends. Like, we hang out in TeamSpeak every day, we laugh and we have some fun. We play wagers together. It's great fun. The Spanish community is really close, and that's why I think we are unique in that aspect.
That's one thing I want to mention too, is that like I feel like we've only had a few opportunities, at least in North America or from abroad, you know, Call of Duty esports, you know, perspective of like, hey, okay, the Spanish COD scene exists. We saw HERETICS, like we all remember, you know, the Vamos. Oh my gosh, they're beating top teams. They could be one of the best teams in the world. Different, you know, players here and there that were listed, especially during that Black Ops 4 year. I mean, just give a quick testament to it, like how passionate really is, how massive really is the Spanish COD scene.
You don't understand. Like, it's unreal. Like, every time you have to understand that the Spanish community involves Spain from Europe, and then it involves the whole LATAM community because they all speak
Right.
Spanish. As soon as I was announced in Florida, like, I have half of the responses are from Spanish people, and half
Sure.
of the responses are from people from LATAM. There's a bunch of people supporting Call of Duty, and I really wish that when the CDL came around, CDL Madrid would have been approved. Because I think there's a lot of talent in Spain that people don't see, and it's really hard because obviously there's the language barrier. You know, when CDL looks into Europe, they maybe don't look as much into Spanish players because that language barrier maybe. But the talent is there, and I just wish like we had a full Spanish team in the league, because you know we could have proven after the CWL that we actually have talent there. And I don't know, I just maybe in the future, you know, Heretics comes around, maybe expansion also comes around,
Sure.
and we can go back to that CW era of the Heretics take my vamos, you know, and that would be really cool. I tweeted, I wish that the only thing that this brings of me getting in the league, apart from obviously doing really well with Florida and doing really well with my teammates, is to prove that it doesn't have to be English-speaking countries all the time. You know, it can also be Spain or France, like Hydra, like Paco. So
Sure.
so yeah, that's one of my goals as well. Represent my country, represent the talent there is there, and maybe, you know, bring some more players in the future.
Definitely, man. It kind of feels like you're kind of carrying that torch, not just from even from a Spanish, you know, perspective, but also kind of in an international form as well. We've seen some great players, as you mentioned, like Hydra, different players who've came from these different countries and have seen wild success. And I guess on topic with that, I want to get to, you know, your challengers performance throughout this past season. I know we've touched on it a little bit, you know, throughout a majority of it. You end up joining Toronto NA Academy. You see wild success, right? Won the Stage 3 Elite playoffs. You win the Stage 4 Elite playoffs. You go on to win Minnesota. Prior to that, you later finish, first at the Boston Open. You finish second place at Challengers Champs. And now you're on the Florida Mutineers, man. How did that happen?
I mean, I'm pretty sure I was the player in Challengers that had the best average placement in all the tournaments, including Scrappy, by the way. Uh, But yeah, I think I was the player with the best average placement, and I think we were talking about it before about the schedule on with college. But like, I finished my spring semester like the 22nd of April, more or less, which is halfway through the season technically, and that's when I actually like I was like mind blown at myself, because I was able to play COD all day. I was able to not I didn't have the stress of studies. I was able to just wake up, play COD, go to sleep. And that's when I saw like the exponential, like an exponential growth on my level that I never thought there was. It was there, but I built up my confidence a lot. I trusted myself on everything. I started playing, I don't know, I started grinding like absurd amount of time of hours into COD every day. And you know, it was proven through my results. It was proven through my statistics as well. And I think Coach Willett saw some like good things about me. I also like I've always been considered a very mature person in terms of, well, he's 19, but you know, he maybe acts like he was older. You know, he's always on time. I always work hard. I always like speak up when I can. I always say like, hey, I don't think this is right. I think we should go this way. And I think yeah, my coaches back in Toronto Academy, you know, Mystic and Mayhem, saw that.
Yeah.
When they got asked by Willett, they told him the truth how I am, and I think Willett really liked that. So he took he basically is taking the gamble on me, and I just want to prove him that I'm really worth it, and that I can be definitely league level, and just prove everyone wrong.
I'll tell you what, man, you joined this team alongside HAVOK, Major Maniac. I know you're very familiar with Brack, obviously given your challengers duels throughout the season, which is funny because actually all four of, you know, you guys at some point were in challengers last year. Like Major Maniac had that, you know, short stint where he was playing for a little while. You know, HAVOK had that great run with Texas Nation to start off the year, then later got the opportunity. I mean, just talk to me, man. How do you feel about this group? What are you most excited about come scrimmage time when we talk about these players?
I think it's it's been going around, but I think it's like a good Genji example.
Yeah.
Well, I think we're a very solid team in S&D. Obviously with Mike and Colt, which are really two good players in S&D, and then Carson had like a 1.8 in challengers throughout the whole season in S&D. I mean, I know it's challengers, but 1.8 is very, very impressive. So yeah, I think we have a really solid team on S&D, and I think the game changer is that we have four people that are all on the same page. We all sat down and spoke about the things we want, and how we're gonna approach this season. And I think even though maybe like people are saying like, hey, it's not big names, they're gonna do like really bad. I don't see it that way. I see it like an opportunity to actually like be contenders to win championships just by all being on the same page, all working hard. And you know, a team like LA Thieves, like obviously they all, if you see their stats, they all have the same KD.
Yeah.
There's no people having 1.2, someone having a 0.8. No, they're all having the same stats. They're all doing their job, and I think we're a similar team. You know, a team that everyone does their own job, and I think if it meshes well, I think we can be a team that will surprise people, and just hoping to work hard and prove that to people that we can be a top team.
Yeah, I feel like you are going to have to do some proving when it comes down to this team. I mean, you know, there have been some tweets that have already come out. I'm not sure if you've seen it or not, but the odds already have started to come out very early, you know, from different betting websites and things like that based on every single team, even though there are still some rumor rosters that are out there. I know right now, currently, Florida Mutineers sit as the lowest favorite to win 2023 champs. Like, what's your reaction to that? Is it motivating at all?
I mean, you go to Reddit and you go to the Florida post, and like half of the comments is like, you know, Mike and Colt are really good, but who are Vikul and Brack? Like they don't know us.
Right.
They don't know us because they don't watch challengers. I mean, there's a whole amount of people that watch the CDL, and half of them don't watch challengers because, you know, maybe they just don't have the time for it. So I think it's just a matter of that people don't know us. Me and Brack never competed in the CDL before, so it's just time to prove them, to show who we are, and I think it's time to just put our heads down. You know, I don't really care about odds. It's just like, you know what, like if I was allowed to bet, you know, I would bet on myself. Why not? Like, why
I like
not?
that.
I trust myself. I trust my teammates. I trust the team environment that we have, and you know, time will prove people, and we'll see.
One thing I will say is that not only am I excited to see this team, start to showcase. I feel like the talent that you guys really do have to showcase that, majority of the people who are making these tweets or making these claims are wrong. But I'm also really excited, more specifically, to see yourself and HAVOK in these SMG positions. How do you feel playstyle wise that you'd mix with somebody like HAVOK?
I was speaking to Willet about this, and I was like, man, Cole, like in challenges when he was with Kismet, you know how Kismet plays. He's objective wise, grabbing bombs. He's in a point, being annoying all the time, doing his job all the time. And when Colt was Kismet, Colt was unreal. I think he had a 1.2 every series in challengers, and obviously in challengers there's good players. And when he joined Minnesota, I think he joined Standy as a sub-duo, and I think that kind of like forced him to maybe back down a bit because they have a very similar playstyle, a very slay, being ratty kind of playstyle, and that's why he could. I feel that's why he wasn't able to maybe showcase the talent he has. But I'm a player that I'm a big lane filler. I like grabbing bombs in S&D, I'll get in the point in hard point. I don't mind. A Colt can go around and slay, you know what I mean? Get those KDs that he always got in challengers, and I feel that he was able to play that well because he was around Kismet. So I think me and him will mesh really, really well together. And hopefully, like both of us, we literally mesh that well that we both boost each other up to different levels. And I'm just really, really excited to play with him. I think he's a really smart player when it comes to search and destroy, and I think he's a great slayer when it comes to hard points. And that's why I feel so many comments on Reddit just don't understand how the team works. They don't understand where building up the team came from, and they say like, Vikul has to be the MVP and like showcase and like play really well to be a superstar in order for Florida to work, and that's not right. They just don't understand where it comes from, and that's why I just mentioned this. I think it's a good time to actually like say, hey, like Colt. I don't think Colt has been able to prove like how good he is yet because he hasn't been around the right people in the CDL. So I think it's going to be a good moment to show.
Well, I'm excited for you, man. I'm excited for you. I'm excited for your rookie season. I'll be honest, you're one of my favorite players to watch when it comes down to the CDL this next season. Is the Rookie of the Year award something that's even in your mind right now? Is it something that you are aiming to shoot for?
Listen, the only reason I want to win Rookie of the Year is not even because of myself or anything. It's because I want to be Thomas so bad, Scrappy. Like me and Scrappy are really, really close friends. As soon as I was announced on Florida, he sent me a message. He was like, "Congratulations, Javi, but listen, like you're not gonna beat me once this year." And I'm like, listen, Thomas, like it's not even gonna be close between me and you, blah blah. So there's this like friendly beef that we have with each other, and listen, if I'm not gonna go for it, I'm just gonna play my game. But if I do win Rookie of the Year, the good thing about it is that I'll be able to to remind Scrappy every year, hey, like I'm better than you, blah blah, and that's gonna be so funny. But yeah, obviously Scrappy is going into the league as the favorite of to win the Rookie of the Year. So he's a big slaying. He has a big slaying ability. Maybe I'm not that kind of player, but you never know. I'm not trying to showcase numbers or anything. That's not my goal. My goal is to win as a team, and that's the only thing I have in mind. So yeah, Rookie of the Year is an individual award. I'm looking for majors and championships here, nothing else.
Okay, so you are in. I'm just gonna put you in a scenario. Major 1 finals game. Yeah. Well, I know we're playing best of 9s. We'll just say game 5. You're in a search destroy for the tournament, round 11. You clutch up, you win it for the team. Who is the other player that you want to clutch on? Is it going to be Scrappy or is it somebody else?
100% Scrappy.
100% Scrappy. Okay.
Like that's like you know what? Like even me with an AR, like absolutely gunning him from my head or something like something like that, and he'll absolutely just the moment that he will remember for the rest of his life. and that just will put him to like won't let him sleep for the rest of the week or something. Yeah, it would be Scrappy for sure.
I'm excited, man. I'm excited for your guys' first duel. Before I let you go, I do want to ask you, what's one improvement that you'd like to see be done in Challengers? If you could choose one thing, you've gone through the system. Obviously, you saw tons of success this past year. You know what it's like. You know the grind, all those things. Now transitioning into the CDL, looking back, what's one thing that you could change if you could do one thing?
I just wish like big finals, like maybe like an open final or something in Boston, for example, when the just the finals to be broadcasted on the main CDL channel, just to bring a little bit of more eyes to challengers from external viewers. That would be great, but I mean, I don't decide anything, so if that's one of my if I could have one wish, it would be for finals and maybe elite finals to be broadcasted on the main CDL channel, and yeah, that's pretty much what I would wish for. Yeah.
I'll say this: I was at Champs. We had that moment. I forget what day it was, but it was one of the days we were having a tech delay, and it was awesome. Not that we were having a tech delay, but during that time, they decided to show a few matches that were going on at Challenger Champs or Challenger Finals at that same moment. So it was great because we had this outlet, we had this opportunity to show a sold out arena, some challengers that was going on, and they were really getting into it. Like I was sitting there, I wasn't on the cast at the time, but I was sitting in there in the venue, and I was just watching people react to it. And you could see people kind of pointing at the screen, being like, "Who is that? Oh, this is cool. This is great. This is interesting." And I think it really opened the eyes of a lot of people to be like, "Hey, it's not just the CDL that exists. It's also this challengers thing, and this is where a lot of the players come from, et cetera, et cetera." But
and there's also many stories in challengers. Like for example, we dropped Mohawk at the middle of the season. He comes back with a brand new team, and Adam Assault leaves Caden, comes to us, and we suddenly play in grand finals of Challenger Champs, and they beat us on 2 best of 5s, and that's I think that's dope. That a person like Mohawk was able to after being dropped, make a whole new team and being able to beat us on 2 best of 5s. I think Caden Exceed when absolutely rogue on us. I think there's really there's actually like stories in Challengers too, and it would
100%.
be really cool to also like showcase them every now and then in the main channel, and that's why I feel like it would be great. And the only person that could beat me on LAN was Brack on Toronto Open and Champs, and now I'm his teammate, so no one's gonna be able to beat us on LAN now.
It's a win-win.
It's a win-win
for Vikul right now. But I tell you what, man, I want to give you a chance. I know you had the chance, already through some social media posts to address the Florida Mutineers fan base, but I want to give you the opportunity to do it really for one of the first times. I mean, what do you want to say to the Florida Mutineers fan base? What do you also want to say to the rest of the CDL as we start to approach MW2?
To the Florida Mutineer fans, I just wanna say that we're gonna prove everyone else wrong. I can promise you that we're gonna work hard for this. We have a great team. We have great vibes, and you can never. People cannot handle the Vamos, and you have the Vamos this year. You have there's a really funny thing that I always do on my streams, and people really laugh, and it's like the Su of Ronaldo.
Right.
So yes, Su Vamos, and to the rest of the CDL, man, we're coming. We're the dark horse of the CDL, and just don't think we're a team that doesn't deserve to be up there, because we do, and we're gonna prove everyone wrong. So, vamos!
I can see it already.
My vamos!
I can see it already. Give Vikul your vamos. But that's going to be Vikul, the Florida Mutineers. Thanks so much for taking the time to talk with me today, man.
Thank you to you, Lando.